Ladies and gentlemen, every single one of us wakes up with the exact same gift, 24 hours. The richest person in the world doesn't get more. The most talented person doesn't get more. The strongest, the smartest, the most successful, they're all playing with the same clock you have. The only difference is how they use it. And if you keep treating your hours like they don't matter, one day you'll wake up and realize you've spent your life, not lived it. So let me ask you, what are you doing with your 24 hours today? Time is the most powerful currency we will ever hold in our hands. Not money, not fame, not status, just 24 hours. That's what every single one of us is given each day. No more, no less. The same 24 hours that built empires, cured diseases, created works of art, and shaped legends. The same 24 hours that we sometimes waste scrolling endlessly, doubting ourselves, or waiting for the right moment. The difference between someone who rises and someone who settles is not the hours themselves, it's how those hours are managed. Think about it. You can't buy more time, you can't bargain for an extra hour, and you can't borrow someone else's minutes. All you can do is decide how to spend what you already have. It sounds simple, but it is the hardest discipline to master. Because managing your 24 hours isn't about filling every second with busyness. It's about aligning those hours with your vision, your purpose, your values. The first step is awareness. Most of us move through our days on autopilot. We wake up, check our phones, rush into routines, and by the time we pause, the day is already gone. You need to ask yourself, where is my time actually going? When you become conscious of your patterns, you realize that a huge part of your life has been running without your permission. Awareness brings control and control brings clarity. Suddenly, you see that it's not time that was slipping away. It was you who wasn't holding on. Once you know where your hours are leaking, you can start to choose differently. But here's the truth. To manage your time, you must manage yourself. Time doesn't change. You do. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. If you wake up late every day, if you waste your mornings, if you keep pushing your dreams to tomorrow, then tomorrow will never come. The world won't rearrange itself for your comfort. You must rearrange yourself to meet the world. There's a powerful shift that happens when you start your day with intention. The morning is like a blank canvas, and the first few strokes decide the mood of the painting. If you spend those first hours feeding your mind, energizing your body, and focusing your spirit, you create momentum. But if you let your morning slip into distraction, the entire day feels scattered. Protect your mornings. Guard them fiercely. They set the tone for everything else. Now I know some people say, but I'm too busy, I have responsibilities, I have pressures, I don't have the luxury to design my day. Let me tell you something, everyone is busy. The busiest people in the world are still making time to build, to create, to invest in themselves. The truth is, you're not too busy, you're just not prioritizing. And priorities are everything. What you value will always find space in your day. If you value growth, you'll make time for it. If you value health, you'll move your body. If you value relationships, you'll be present for them. Stop saying, I don't have time. Start admitting, it's not my priority. That honesty alone can change the way you live. Managing 24 hours also means learning the art of saying no. Not every invitation deserves your acceptance. Not every distraction weighs your attention. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you cannot keep giving your time to ordinary things. Cut out the noise. People may not always understand your boundaries, but your time is too precious to be at the mercy of other people's demands. Saying no isn't selfish. It's survival for your vision. And remember, productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Some of you are exhausting yourselves with endless to-do lists that never end. You tick boxes, but you're not moving forward. Activity is not progress. You need to ask, is this action taking me closer to my goals, or is it keeping me busy without purpose? Once you align your hours with meaningful action, you will achieve more in one focused year than in 10 distracted ones. But managing your day isn't just about hard work. It's also about balance. Rest is not laziness. Sleep is not weakness. Breaks are not failures. Your body and mind are like machines. If you run them without pause, they burn out. Time management includes making space for recovery, for joy, for stillness. Because when you return to your work after proper rest, you bring sharper energy, deeper focus, and greater creativity. Another powerful practice is reflection. At the end of the day, ask yourself, how did I spend my hours? Did I honor my purpose? Did I waste time on negativity? Or did I invest it in growth? Reflection is like holding up a mirror to your life. It forces you to confront the truth, and truth leads to transformation. Without reflection, you repeat the same mistakes. With reflection, you refine your days and eventually your destiny. Let's talk about the power of small actions. People often think transformation requires massive shifts, but your life is not built in leaps. It's built in steps. If you dedicate even 1 hour a day to your dream, in a year, that's 365 hours. That's more than 2 weeks of focused effort. Do you realize how powerful that is? The hours add up, they compound. What feels small today becomes extraordinary tomorrow. Don't underestimate what consistent daily investment can do. Distractions will always be there. Fear will always whisper that you're not ready. Doubt will always remind you of your limits. But your 24 hours don't wait for doubt to disappear. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They move forward with or without your permission. So the question is, are you moving with them or are you standing still while time leaves you behind? Greatness is never about having more time. It's about squeezing the most out of the time you already have. Look around. People with the same 24 hours have built legacies that will outlive them. They didn't get more hours. They just managed them with unshakable discipline, fierce clarity, and relentless purpose. You have that same power. Imagine your day as a treasure chest. Every morning, it's filled with 1,440 minutes, like gold coins. Each time you waste a minute on doubt, distraction, or negativity, you're throwing away a coin you can never get back. But each time you invest a minute in learning, creating, connecting, or improving, you're planting seeds that grow into a future you desire. Every choice counts. Every minute matters. Managing your 24 hours is not just about being efficient, it's about being intentional. Because one day, your hours will run out. And when that moment comes, you won't remember the time you spent scrolling, gossiping, or delaying. You'll remember the moments you lived with courage, with focus, with love, with purpose. So take your 24 hours, not as a burden, but as a gift. Each sunrise is a reminder that you have another chance to design your life, to align your hours with your vision, and to create something meaningful. You don't need more time. You just need to own the time you already have. Because time is not waiting for anyone. It doesn't slow down for your excuses. It doesn't pause when you're afraid. It doesn't rewind when you regret. Every tick of the clock is a reminder that your story is being written, whether you're holding the pen or not. That's the power and the danger of 24 hours. Now let's talk about excuses. Excuses are the thieves of time. They disguise themselves as reasons, but they're really just permission slips to waste your life. I don't have the time. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. Every excuse steals minutes that could have been invested in your future. Every excuse is a surrender of your power. You have to catch yourself in those moments and remind yourself, I am in control of my 24 hours. I decide how they're used. Not my fears, not my doubts, not my habits. Me. You also have to protect your time from negativity. Think about how many hours are lost to gossip, complaining, worrying about things that never happen. You could write a book, start a business, learn a skill, or change your life in the hours you've given away to negativity. When you realize that, you stop entertaining it. You stop letting your mind be a dumping ground for doubt and drama. You start seeing your hours as too precious to be contaminated by smallness. Managing your day also means designing it in alignment with your vision. Don't just react to life, structure it. Create rituals that anchor you. Build habits that make success inevitable. If you want health, schedule time for movement. If you want growth, schedule time for learning. If you want peace, schedule time for stillness. Treat your dream like a non-negotiable appointment. Because if you don't schedule your priorities, the world will schedule distractions for you. And yes, there will be sacrifices. You can't manage your 24 hours without giving up certain comforts. You may have to give up extra sleep, mindless entertainment, or nights out that don't serve your purpose. But remember this, sacrifice is not loss. Sacrifice is an investment. Every hour you sacrifice for your dream is an hour you are gifting to your future self. And one day, that future self will thank you for not wasting time on temporary pleasures that gave nothing back. There's also the importance of momentum. Success is not built in one giant leap, it's built in compounding hours of effort. Every time you show up consistently, you add weight to your momentum. Momentum is what carries you through days when motivation fades. Because motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes like the weather. But momentum, built by disciplined use of your hours, becomes unstoppable. That's why it's so important to keep moving, even if it's just a small step each day. And don't forget gratitude. Gratitude has the power to transform the way you see your 24 hours. When you wake up grateful for another day, you stop taking your hours for granted. You stop wasting them on bitterness. You begin to see the beauty in ordinary moments. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Suddenly, your 24 hours feel like an opportunity, not a burden. And when you live from that energy, you naturally make better use of your time. The truth is, managing your hours is not just about productivity. It's about purpose.